Hey, my beautiful followers. How is everyone doing on this beautiful Monday morning? I guess it's almost afternoon now. I got up, I went to yoga, so I've been blowing and going all day long. Pretty busy, but in an amazing way. Just an amazing way. As you all know, I'm just like rocking it out this week. I told you guys that yesterday on my live stream, just feeling really good, loving this weather that we're having in Texas. Like, I don't really even need this sweatshirt. It is just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weather. So, hold on. I don't coffee before yoga, and so whenever I get home from yoga, I'm like, coffee, coffee. But today I really was thinking about kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I've been recently getting lots of new clients or clients kind of coming back to me, and they are bringing this issue to me, and it's funny because it's almost a level of cheating, and they don't realize it's a level of cheating. And that is when we bring in any other addictive element into our relationship. And when I say addictive element, there's no such thing as addiction, by the way. And I know I'm going to get nasty grams on this, but there's no such thing. There's no such thing as addiction. Like, it's not a fucking thing, guys. Like, stop using the word because it's not a real thing. Like, there's no such thing as addiction. There is, if you look at not that I don't think that things can have addictive qualities, but there is no actual diagnosis of an addict. You can look at the diagnostic manuals. I was a therapist for years. There's dependence, there's tolerances, there's lots of abuses, but there's no such thing as actual addiction. So when people come to me and they go, I'm a sex addict, I go, no, you're not. You're not a sex addict. You are dependent upon that process. You might be abusing that process, but you're not an addict. There's no such fucking thing as an addict, unless the psychiatric community feels that they want to change the Bible of psychology, of psychiatric diagnoses, and then there will be such thing as an addiction. So I want to get that out there before I go on. But I've gotten recently a lot of people who will come to me and they either have an alcohol, drug thing going on, or an eating disorder, or they have a partner that has these three things, or another, like porn, like they're really attached to using porn, so they would have, a porn dependence abuse. And what ends up happening, and what most people don't realize, and I worked in eating disorders for years, and this happened all the time, and we would talk about it all the time with our married clients or our clients who are dating, and how you can't have a healthy relationship when you have a third party pretty much in the relationship, and that third party being, that cheating party actually being your abuse or dependence, and for just ease sake, I am going to use the term addiction, this process, this other piece that you're pulling in. It actually becomes almost like a third party in the relationship. It really does. It becomes its own entity. When I worked in eating disorders for years, we would actually have clients like name it, be like, that's Ed, that's my eating disorder. And because the truth is, when we recognize that these pieces are almost like a third party in the relationship, it changes, it pulls out our shadow self, and that shadow piece becomes almost its own entity. And it gets in between our relationships. We can't see another party completely and entirely when they are either in one of these addictive patterns or processes, such as, again, porn, eating disorders, alcoholism, things like that. It becomes its own person in the relationship, and it really breaks the relationship down, and you can no longer see that other person, and that person can no longer truly see you, because they, in some way, their brains have been altered. And yes, it is a brain issue at this point. That's not to say that you don't have power over it. I actually am not a proponent of like the 12-step programs. I have my own views on those. So those of you who has worked for, awesome, all power to you. I personally am not a proponent in my own coaching practice of that. I think though if it works for you, that's great, let it work, but you still have the power over it. You can still control it. You can still step into it and do the work. However, you are kind of ingraining a different pattern in the brain, and so you are acting from a different piece of self than you normally would without that substance, that process, whatever it is. And I think that when we go into a relationship, and that's what the focus is, what ends up happening in these scenarios is that the addictive quality becomes more important than the other person. They really do. That substance, that process becomes more important, and thus you are cheating on your partner. You quickly start cheating. I spent years, like 15 years, in an eating disorder of my own. And there was years that I would go, oh no, I don't have an eating disorder, I'm better. And I wasn't. Wasn't. It was like these little, like I was just cheating a little here and a little here and a little here on everybody in my life, all the relationships. There was something in between me and that other person at all times in the relationship, because who I would rely on was this eating disorder. Who I would lean on for support was the eating disorder. Who I would go to was the eating disorder. And I was processing through that other person. So it is almost like you having a best friend, and so you're talking with your partner, and then you go to your best friend and you tell your partner, you tell your best friend everything that's going on with your partner, and then your partner is actually the one who's responding. So it's like a three-way. You're playing almost a phone tag game through this addictive process that is happening, instead of having a true communication one-on-one, because you are this filter, this third person is right in between you two. And so I like to tell clients that are struggling, or have people who are struggling with addictive qualities, or and this could even be like social media. Like I said, porn is huge on this one. Any food issues, any exercise addictive qualities, any, again, drugs, alcohol. These truly become a filter for our relationships. We just can't see each other through them. And so I think that there's many things you can do if that other person or yourself is ready to step up and step into healing. Then that is beautiful and a wonderful process. But to realize that who you are with today will be different once you transition out of that process. Now, sometimes it's for the better, and sometimes it's for the worse, in truth. But it is like having a threesome. It really is. It's a cheating energy, and most people don't see it as this cheating energy, but it really is. It's like I can't speak to you, so I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna speak to my eating disorder. I'm gonna speak to the bottle. I'm gonna speak to this drug of choice, instead of just, okay, I'm upset and I'm gonna deal with it right here. When you are in an addictive process, when you are in abuse or dependency, what you're doing is you're not going to that person, you're going outside of that person. You're no longer relying on your relationships. And thus it is like having a third person in the relationship, and to really block and get in between you. And I wish that there was a quick, simple answer to this, but I think it is first recognizing that there is that third person in the relationship, even if it is an entity and not an actual person, that there is this other piece in the relationship. Just like I tell my couples, don't let your friends, don't let your parents, don't let other family members get in between your romantic relationship. That relationship is between you and that other person. Even in friendships, like you always see that threesome friendship, where it's like, oh, like I'm talking to this person, and then there is this other party that's outside the friendship kind of like infiltrating and kind of feeding information. So I always tell couples and anybody in relationship, keep the relationship between the two parties. And that's easy, but that is easy to do when it's an actual person to go, okay, no, I'm not going to include this person. I'm not going to listen to this person's thoughts, advice, opinions. That is much harder to do when it is porn, when it is drugs, when it is alcohol, when it is a severe eating disorder, even a mild eating disorder. It will break down your relationship, and it will quickly break down your relationship, and you will not even see where you're truly not listening to yourself, but you're listening to this other entity. And so my suggestion for all of you, I wish I could fix everybody's addictive problems today and be like, oh, we'll just do this and it's easy. But the fact is that's a process. And that's a process, and it's a very unique process to each person. But to just begin by seeing if you're using drugs, alcohol, food, exercise, porn, sex even, and using it in order to fill yourself, you are also detaching from those people in your life and those connective moments with them. You truly are. And so at least visualizing this party between you, and I promise you, just visualizing it, just seeing it, just doing, ow, I'm stuck in my hair. This is when I know I need to get my nails done. Hold on. When Addison gets stuck to her own hand. There we go. So I ask that you just look at that third party and really personify that addictive quality, and you will be amazed at what you will learn about self, about other, and how you will see how it really is hindering that relationship. So it's just, I have had so many people coming to me going, yes, I love this person, or this, I really, really want to be in a relationship with this other person, but there's this in the way, and we don't talk as much about these other things that get in the way that are just as powerful as if they were other people in the relationship. So on that note, I am going to let you guys go. I'm going to go have a play date with some of my favorite little kids and enjoy the rest of my afternoon. And if you are in the DFW area, I have my Tantra Reboot coming up. That is coming up on January 18th. It's going to be an amazing workshop. It always is every single year. This workshop is always jam-packed, and it always really kickstarts our year in a beautiful way. And then I have my solo Tantra training that is coming up on January 22nd. That is a 3-day online, so you do it all online, and then you have access to it for the rest of your life on my dashboard. You get to see all the videos, all the journaling, all the prompts. This is a jam-packed course full of training to learn how to be tantric in your world, how to practice Tantra, because it always comes first from a solo perspective, and then we can expand it out into a relationship level. So check that out. Again, that's online. And then I have my Aphrodite Circles, which are a free event in the DFW area. If you are in the area, then check that out. You can find all of that at addisonbell.net. Other than that, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow for another Addison Unleashed. Bye, guys.